The Northwoods League is giving you the opportunity to play NWL Lucky 7 every day for your shot at $100,000. You can find the Northwoods League Lucky 7 game at NWL.com under the Gaming tab. Answer the 7 questions correctly about action in the Northwoods League and you could win $100,000. The game is free to play. You must be at least 21. Terms and conditions apply. So after 5 innings of Raleigh Hector, the plug is pulled as the Hot Tots make their first pitching change of the night in favor of Stanford sophomore Gavin Nalu, who after not appearing in any games for the Trees this past season, opted to come out and help his summer collegiate team, the Minot Hot Tots, despite the fact that his college team in Stanford is still alive in the Collegiate World Series. They're in that final group. But Nalu likely found it more beneficial to get the repetitions this summer, and it makes sense. Through 2.2 innings pitched, he still hasn't allowed any runs, whether they be earned or not. As Nalu has done plenty of it himself. He's got 1 strikeout through those 2.2 innings pitched, but he's a guy who, even though he doesn't have that top-end speed that many relievers in today's game have, he's got control unlike any other on a very unconventional arsenal. That makes all of his appearances interesting, as he doesn't throw a fastball. He's got a sinker, slider, changeup trio that has worked enough to get him all the way to Stanford University and now on the bump in the Northwoods League. As Nalu's a guy who's got a really inspirational story. He was one of the top recruits out of high school before developing a tumor in his throwing arm. After all was said and done, treatment was successful. He's now worked and rehabbed his way back into being a serious contender on the bump, and now gets a called strike in his favor as the slider slid all the way across the zone and was able to keep Stroh looking at the plate. Nalu came into today with the best whip on the Hot Tots team at .75. And now he's going to get a looking strike 3 as Stroh knew it immediately. He started the gallop back. And get this, that is the first strikeout of the day for the Hot Tots. So after 5 innings of Raleigh Hector, the Tots didn't get a single punchy. There it is, the first one. Closes the door on Zach Stroh's first at-bat against Gavin Nalu, which now will bring Caston Furr, the shortstop, up for his first go-about against the Stanford sophomore. As Nalu continues to locate the crew chief and home plate judge, David Canales' zone, that's a called strike 1 after Furr watched it all the way in. Make it 0-2. It's another looking strike from the way of Gavin Nalu, who's forcing batters to stay on their toes early as his pitches continue to find the zone, and that's what he's grown known for out of the pen. The number 5 that Nalu sports was taken over from C.J. Sturriali, who had to leave this summer early after finding out from an MRI on Monday that he needed Tommy John. So a week later, it's a new player in his jersey number in Nalu, looking to fill the big shoes of Sturriali, who was supposed to be one of the better closers for the Tots this season. It'll be an even 2-2 count from number 5 to number 3. Make it 2 strikeouts in a row. It's a drop third one this time, and actually an error on the way to first. My goodness. He reaches on the drop third strike as seemingly everything is going in the Stingers' favor tonight. It's a strikeout, but more so just strike as the out part doesn't come. Bennett bobbled it behind the dish, made the throw over to first, and it's a rare error from Christian Perez, who let it hop out of his glove, and now has Caston Furr standing side by side with him over on the bag. After Nalu looks off the base runner, he delivers outside for his first pitch against Luke Williams tonight. That was the first drop third strike, either offensively or defensively, in Hot Tots history. It took 18 games to occur, and there it was. As the Stingers were able to take advantage, it'll now put a runner in scoring position, with the sinker getting away from Nalu and never quite sinking into the zone. It goes off of the glove of Gavin Bennett and into that back padding, which allows Furr now to stand on second base after a good hustle on the drop third strike. Puts Luke Williams in a favorable position from the dish, who's 1 for 2 today with the base knock. He's going to send one over to Pepe. And now it's back-to-back errors. That one goes through the legs of Nick Pepe, ricocheting into right field. And the Hot Tots just off their juju today on the diamond. Make it back-to-back errors for the Tots in the field, who allow a drop third strike to immediately affect them on the next batter, as it's another error that sends Caston Furr all the way around to score and allows Luke Williams to first. To bring up Stone Meow, who's coming off of an RBI single, which was followed up by a stolen base, and now he's quickly drilled in the back from Nalu. And he's going to take a second over to the side, as that one seemingly wasn't expected from the lefty, because that one just completely got away from Gavin Nalu, who after starting extremely hot and seemingly should have had 2 away, had a drop third strike come back to bite him as a run came across to score, the first ever for him on the mound in a Hot Tots uniform, which extended the Stingers' lead to 6 here on the road. And after another error and a non-earned base runner against Nalu, he's got to deal with the runner in scoring position in Luke Williams. And Stone Meow over on first after a ball that hit him seemingly, hopefully, won't have long-lasting effects, as Meow, after taking a moment to himself, is able to hop up and get over to first. Talking with Freddie Smith over there, the first base coach for the Stingers. Should bring up Kevin Fitzer, who started the day with a deep fly out to Tristan Moore, but since has been perfect with a double and single to his name. The key player heading into tonight's matchup for the Stingers earned that title and then some, with his tied for second 4 home runs across the Northwoods League and 10 stolen bags. He's actually come across to score more than he's struck out this season, as he's been a part of 17 runs on the board for the Stingers just by his feet touching home base, to only 13 strikeouts. Is now, instead of a double steal try, it's only the runner going to third, but Bennett decides not to make contest over there. And it'll put runners on the corners as Meow stayed at first. But Luke Williams caught the Hot Tot sleeping in the oven and puts himself on third base. So it'll now be a 2-1 count from Nalu to Fitzer. Fitzer is all of that 6'3", 200 frame. You could just see the size in his straight-up batting stance. As Nalu's able to fool him on the changeup, that one will be tipped away foul. And even the count once more now from 5-34. Nalu, more so than anything, getting back into a rhythm with that pickoff try, as he just plays catch for a moment there with Christian Perez, who never really had a play on the bag. And now, after taking his only time, will be forced to deliver here to Fitzer. He's going to rope one foul. It doesn't look like there will be a play over there on the right side, and there won't be, as that one comes bouncing down on the first base club side and will be a nice souvenir for whoever is able to grapple the Northwoods League branded baseball. Northwoods League does such a good job in running a tight and clean ship in everything they do. And, you know, it starts with the baseball, the tool of play for America's favorite pastime. It's branded with a green stamp that has grown quite the following amongst the players in the league, and specifically with Minot, who all really appreciate the spin that the ball is able to generate on the mound. And it's another good play now from an outfielder for the Tots. This time it's Rollauer forcing a Stinger to hold at third, as Luke Williams won't be able to score on the deep drive from Kevin Fitzer that puts him away and keeps the runners put. Now with 2 away for Gabe Swanson. as the pitching clock gets started. We'll mark another fresh count for Nalu, who looks to escape this inning with 1 run that wasn't earned. And a 6-run deficit that the Hot Tots only have 12 outs at the plate to overcome. Gonna need a run for every 2 outs if the Hot Tots are able to keep the score the way they are right now. This should help them in that process, as they've got 3 guys over there to make the play, and it's another error. There's no communication out there in shallow left. And the Hot Tots doing Gavin Nalu absolutely no favors on the mound, as there were 3 guys to get under that towering pop-up. But Riccio, Kluvers, and Moore, none of them are able to grab it. And it comes ricocheting into the turf to bring across another run. Advance Stone Meow now over to third. And get a shocked Gabe Swanson to first base, who was sure he had just put away the last out of the top of inning number 6. It's now 3 errors in 1 inning from the Hot Tots, as the Stingers look to continue to capitalize. That's a drive to the right side wall, but Rollauer's out there to make the play. So Rimmer flies out to 9 to end the inning. It's back-to-back outs from the glove of Rollauer, but not before there's an error out in left field that allows another to come across to score. It's the Stingers on top of the Hot Tots on the road, who look to dig into the deficit here on the Northwoods League Baseball Network.
Catch all the action of America's premier summer.
The first inning didn't go to plan, but not necessarily from his perspective, as he had to face 7 batters, but 3 of the 4 who reached base reached on an error, as it'll now be an 0-1 count after the first one's in there for a called strike 1 against the third baseman, Scott Anderson. Number 21 is in his second campaign now with the Stingers, and was the Pac West Defensive Player of the Year in 2022. The middle infielder brings a great glove, but today, instead of playing him at second or short, where he's typically native for the Stingers, Freddie Smith opts to put him on the corner there on the left side at third. And Anderson's done a stand-up job with a couple of nice grabs, and no errors to his name in the unconventional position for the good glove of number 21. 11-0-2 from Nalu, that's going to miss and hit Anderson, as Nalu was ahead in the count but lost control there on a pitch he didn't have great grip of. That will send Anderson over to 1. You have to wonder if Nalu's going to reach for that rosin bag here or just try to wipe off the hand on the mound. It looks like that's what he's going to go for. And sometimes with excessive sweat buildup, it allows the pitch to slip out of the grip and do things like that, which will hit a batter and allow a free base for Scott Anderson, who will happily take that after going down 0-2 to start his at-bat. So after choosing not to use the rosin, Nalu's going to deliver the first one to tonight's atypical beer batter, Jake Jelly, who is 1 for 3 today, but still hasn't found that elusive strikeout at the plate, as if he is put away on strikes, it would mean half-priced beer for the next half inning. And this is actually the last half inning where that is viable, as after the middle of the 7th, all alcohol sales come to a close. So it's perfect timing for this Jake Jelly at-bat with nobody away, as fans in the grandstand anxiously await the at-bat here. It will be a 2-0 lead in favor of Jelly so far at the plate against Nalu, who looks to pick up his first strike and does after Bennett does a good job framing it from behind the plate. The 2-1 misses up and away on a sinker that never quite sunk, as number 44 stays up in the at-bat and looks to reach base for the second time in this one. The 3-1 from Nalu, going to miss low and inside on another one that gets away from him. So back-to-back walks to start the inning after hitting Scott Anderson, and now walking Jelly on 5 pitches. There's runners on first and second with nobody gone to start the top of inning number 7. So Nalu will look to get back on track now against Zach Stroh, and that's a tough out at any point. Last season, Stroh was with the Mankato Moondogs, where he was a temp player who appeared in 12 games, and although he wasn't able to hit the big home run, he did bring in 4 runs batted in after getting a double and triple to his name in those 12 games of contest. He's still looking for that elusive first extra base hit this season. And today has done a good job of reaching base, as 2 of those 7 runs on the scoreboard have come from Zach Stroh coming across to score after being hit in the top of inning number 2 and getting a single in the top of 4. He was able to come across to score on both times he's been on the base path. And now we'll watch Nalu, who continues to struggle to locate here in the top of 7, a problem that we haven't really seen him have so far this season. Go down 2-1 in the count against number 31, Zach Stroh. Stroh's favorite baseball player is Joe Mauer, who is a Northwoods League alum, and he's looking to channel some of that power as that one winds up in right. Rollauer will make the play, but there won't be any contest at third, as that should be a free base reached and is over there on third base. So the deep fly from Zach Stroh is able to advance Scott Anderson to third and put runners on first and third now with 1 away, the first out of the inning being that fly out from Stroh. So now Caston Furr will get his second try against Nalu in 2 innings. He was the one who got things started for the Stingers in the top of inning number 6, which would lead to 2 runs coming across to score to pad an already 5-0 lead. As a good hustle play on a drop third strike allowed him to reach first and eventually come across to score, as it's a good stop behind the dish from Gavin Bennett, who has to lunge to get a glove on it, but is able to hold the runners on the corners, and most importantly, keep the third baseman, Scott Anderson, in check over there on third, who was ready to make a run for the plate had that ball got past number 16. Caston Furr is college teammates with another University of New Orleans player starting today. It's out in left field, Tristan Moore. As that one's sent back to a diving Pepe, who's got a chance to turn 2, but will make contact with the diving Jake Jelly on his way back to first. But Nick Pepe, after the error last inning, tries to make up for it there, as that's a really good diving effort from number 3 out on the diamond. To somehow get his glove clamped on a ball that was looking to go up the gap, but Pepe was faring towards second base, and it worked out for him, as the diving effort is good for back-to-back outs now in the top of 7. As Luke Williams, the number 11 outfielder in the state of Alabama in the class of 2022, comes to the plate. That great campaign allowed the Tuscaloosa native to stay local and commit to Alabama, but the big bat won't be put on display there, as he'll send one over to